And welcome to the Metal Mixtape here on KSKQ 89.5 FM Ashland, Oregon, 94.1 FM Medford, Oregon, streaming online on kskqdjramo. Here on today's show, we have Alecia, Mixi, Demner from Stitched Up Heart. What is up, Mixi?
Wow, I think that I've never heard someone talk that fast before. That was super cool.
You know what? It's crazy. I could have like the most stressful days, the most long days, and that will always be embedded in my soul. And plus, like I love like listening to like rap, and I mean I listen to metal, but I listen to everything. So I just love to sing. So it's totally like easy peasy, you know.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh my gosh, on fire.
Well, Mixi, I am so excited to talk to you. Not only because you have this new album to the Wolves, but the real reason I'm really excited to talk to you too is because when I announced first that I was going to interview you, everybody in Southern Oregon, everybody in Northern California, all had like a certain story about you, or they had like a certain experience with you, Mixi, that you just absolutely made such a huge impression on them.
Oh wow, I hope they're good stories.
No, they're great stories. And for me, like after I posted, I'm like, well, I guess everybody knows Mixi besides me.
Well, now you do.
Because I was like, wow, she just must be a totally rad. I mean, I heard stories about like you singing a song like on your on the piano just to like a couple specific people. You playing like I think it was like back-to-back shows like in Medford here at Johnny B's here. Like, and this was like probably like a decade ago.
Oh wow, yeah. No, I've got some roots in Medford. I remember that little venue.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really cool, because I had a lot of people here go like, "Oh my gosh, she's such a sweetheart. Oh my gosh, she's so nice. She's so humble." So you know what? It shows a lot to your character, especially like now, like how successful your band is and how like you guys are just like climbing the charts, climbing the festivals. It's pretty awesome to hear all those stories from your band from a long time ago, and just to hear like how important the fans are to you guys. And to me as a journalist, it means a lot too, because I love talking to artists that really truly care about their fan base.
Oh, well, that's very sweet. Boy, we got everybody fooled though, because I am such a jerk face. Uh, No, I feel like, and I do connect a lot with the people that listen to the music because they care more about the art than even my friends. So like my friends are just my friends because we like to hang out and whatever we have in common. But like, the fans, like, I feel like my art is so important to me. And if somebody appreciates that, that means the world. And I'm willing to do whatever I can to just make them happy. And I think a lot of that's just from my experience with meeting artists and how their influence on me or what they said or what they did that really like I remember to this day, little moments that like you can't forget ever in your life. And those moments I try to do.
No, absolutely. Since you started singing and now into your career is, like I was saying, like it's booming. You guys are absolutely crushing it. This album absolutely destroys. Do you ever like have to like take a day off or like take a moment to like step back and like notice everything that you've accomplished and being like, all right, Mixi, I gotta breathe, I gotta relax, I gotta take in every moment. Does it ever absolutely blow your mind? And how do you deal with like the maybe the pressures of having to hold up like a career while also like keeping your mental health in check?
Well, my mental health is not in check, so there's that.
You're a lead vocalist, by the way, so you got to express yourself a lot. Continue.
Exactly. I think that, artists are very empathetic people and emotional people, which is what makes great lyrics, especially. But as far as like taking a second and every single show, I always try to take a second and really just pause to look out because it's like a roller coaster up there. And so there's always a spot in the set since I can remember we've been doing it where I take a second, I literally sit down on the little riser and just breathe it in and look around and see everybody's faces without just singing at the same time, and so those moments I really look forward to, and sometimes I'm speechless because you're just like, this is so cool. This is like what I I used to have these reoccurring dreams when I was little of playing on these stages with all these people, and it was almost like a premonition, I feel like, of some sort. But as far as the mental health goes, yeah, I try to do meditations and pause, and because it is a rough industry. It's a cutthroat industry. It's very much judgmental, and you're pouring your heart out for people to comment that they hated it online. So it's like people don't just yell at you to your face, but they could say it online for everybody to see, and like they don't realize you actually could read that stuff too. So, and that we're people also, right? Artists
Yep.
are people. So it's like it does take a toll, and I have a therapist now for that, and I'm on antidepressants for that. If you want to be real honest, I'm a very transparent person when it comes to that stuff. So that's helped a lot, in meditation and trying to really try to live in gratitude. And when you have gratitude, you can't have fear at the same time as gratitude. So you have to try to focus on the positive, and it's harder than focusing on the negative. But yeah.
No, and you know what? You're totally I could totally feel like you're a totally empathetic person, because like the thing is, it's like I'll watch your live videos, I'll watch your videos and everything, and a lot of people don't know that like you're really pouring your heart out there, and it could be like the happy side of your heart, the angry side of your heart, the sad part of your heart, and also, like, you were saying, you have comments everywhere, um, you know, um how what's the difference of like dealing with like maybe like labels and producers and all that compared to like when you first started off in the band?
Oh, there's so much that's different when it becomes a business versus just like a hobby.
Yeah.
You're just like painting for yourself, or you're making music for yourself, and you're just having fun with it, and trying to create this art. And then once it becomes like, okay, well, now that we accidentally had all these radio singles that did really well, and like when we first got signed with Century Media, Never Alone just like went on hyper rotation on Octane, and it wasn't expected. So, there was a lot of pressure on the second record to do as good as the first one. And I think we kind of lost ourselves in it, because, you've got all these. I try to take direction as much as possible, but I think I lost myself a little in what we were creating from the beginning and what the vision started out like. And so I think that this record, definitely, I think we stopped caring what anybody else thinks, and just really truly tried to get to the core of what we wanted to create, what kind of sounds. We wanted more riffs, we wanted more screaming. I was a little nervous to start screaming, because before the second record I ended up having vocal cord surgery, and it was like a super challenging time for me. But I was scared to scream on that record, and now this one I'm just like, you know what, if my voice goes, it's just that's the way it is, and then I gotta go and deliver some pizzas, I guess.
No, I totally understand that, especially when you're talking about like the pressures of releasing the first your first songs and first album that did really well, because I've seen documentaries like on Green Day where they went through stuff like that, Jimmy World, all sorts of bands do that, and it's crazy how relatable just how it is in the music industry, and especially with like how you were talking about how you said you stopped caring, you want to just release what you want to release on this album and get back to screaming, because you are in a huge group of vocalists that have had to get like vocal surgery. I know some of my favorite vocalists like Matt Heafy from Trivium, or Matt Sanders from Avenged Sevenfold, and watching them grow up and them constantly blow out their vocals, get surgeries and everything. And when you release it on this album, do you ever have like any ways to like maybe get around it where it's a little easier, where you maybe have like your backup vocal, like other musicians in your band helping you do some of the screaming, or helping you so you can generate like huge powerful vocals, so that way you're just not doing a constant like now that you have released this amazing album and there is a lot of screaming in it, what's the mindset for you doing it live? Like, is there a new preparation for it?
The moment, I'm the only screamer in the band, but I'm trying to get Merritt to get out of his shell a little, because I've heard him do it. But as far as the screaming goes, I'll be honest, that's the easiest part for me. And I don't know why. It just comes naturally. We never really have to edit the takes or anything. We just pick our favorites. But I think I do a lot of warming up. I work on my voice every single day. I've already gone through an hour of warm-ups today. I do a lot of cardio, try to make sure I have a lot of breath and my blood's flowing, and I have like a routine and all that stuff. And I go to a coach now, and I wasn't doing all that before, which is what got myself in trouble. And I also know where my range sits the best. And my voice has changed over time. It's a little bit lower. It's got more girth. It's been through, it's got a little more dirt in it. But that's just from singing all the time. I use my muscle, and it's going to get worked out. But I found a range that's comfortable for me. Like this set for the next tour we're doing starts with Escape the Fate in September. Almost every single song, I'm just going through it. I went through it twice today because I was like, they're easy for me to sing. So I'm not going to have too much problem. And if I ever feel like my voice is getting stressed, I just go on mute for a while and avoid human contact.
No, that makes total sense. Just listening to this whole time, I'm just like, man, okay, that's like just the whole mindset. It's crazy because like one thing, it's like, okay, you're dealing with everything with the labels, you're dealing everything with writing an album and everything. The set that you're coming up with to sing live and be able to just to nail it, and just to be a human right afterwards. So I think you're doing a badass job, and there's so much greatness on this album. My favorite songs on this album is The Architect, Taste for Blood, the Hunting, and Possess Me. Like your vocals are amazing, and the fact that you're doing it all yourself is just incredible. And just after doing it for years, and that's really cool that like you got a vocal couch now, and you're going to be able to just destroy it. Because like, I mean, all the comments that I've heard from any of my friends or anything from either you playing with them or you just expressing yourself, you just come off as such a professional, and you're just such a badass live.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, the low end of the screams that we have never tried before until this record, that's something that I just recently started kind of tampering with, because I used to just do the vocal fry high screams.
Yep.
And then I started going lower and lower, and I'm like, how low can I go? And I just started, screaming along to like Old School Asking or like Motionless or something like that. And then I just really like the tone of their screams. Yep. You just scream along to it in the car, and you kind of find the placement in that. My vocal coach is not a screaming coach. She's more of like a music theater vocal coach, just like placements for the singing, because when it comes to screaming, it just comes out like naturally. But when it comes to singing like belting high notes, I beat myself up over every note that I miss. So I just I'm constantly trying to drill that in and dial that one in.
No, that's totally badass. No, definitely like your screams, like an Immortal, which are totally brutal. The Architect. Do you ever like have to calm yourself down on stage from getting overly excited and just kind of like maybe like not going as hard as you can on the first song, or do you just because like I know, I mean I sing also, and I know there's been times where I've gotten overly excited because the crowd was great and everything, and then I just went 150 on my first song, and then all my other songs were like at 70. Because I just like I ignored everything the vocal coaches said, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go ham. Like, is there something you have to tell yourself, like, all right, I gotta just keep this composure throughout the whole set?
Yeah, that's very, very challenging. It's something that just takes time and experience doing it and knowing that. But like, because you want to give everything you've got as soon as you get out there, and you want to just make the best impression. But your body can only do so much. Like your brain wants to do so much more. It's just like you're really, really hungry, and you order all this food, and then you're like, oh man, I can't finish all this. But yeah, it's something that I've learned over time. It actually started on the Godsmack tour. We went out with them, and a few shows in, Sully is like, "Hey, you're like, I mean, these stages were so big." I was like, "He's like, you're winded by like the the second song, you should start working out before you go on stage, and then you can get the blood flowing and all that stuff. And so that has actually been really helpful. Now I can't not do it. I have to like do something like jump rope or something. If there's no gym or anything, just to get the body to wake up. And then I have, instead of just going crazy and flailing all over the place, I just stand more sturdy and powerful, as opposed to just kind of being crazy.
Well, you know what? It sounds like Sully gave you some great advice, and yeah, I mean, every musician, anytime I see any behind the scenes of like people before they go on stage, it does look like they're doing some exercise. So that's really cool that you're able to implement that in to your regimen. So for this album, To the Wolves, like I said, it's absolutely awesome. Is there any songs on this album? I know usually every artist, they'll say, oh, we love the whole album, but was there any certain song on here that you maybe wished made an impact on people and you're hoping that maybe it was their favorite?
Immortal. I think Immortal is the reason that I just spoke with my dad yesterday, and he is not a metalhead at all. Like he's a moody blues guy. But I'm kind of opening him up to the scene. And so we released the video, and he's like, so yeah, I saw your new song. And I was like, I know it's not your style. He's like, no. Like, I actually like it.
Oh, wow.
Like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't know why. I don't really listen to that kind of stuff, but I really like it. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's exactly what I want. I want to be able to make it digestible enough, like metal digestible enough to people that don't usually listen to that music, to bring them over to the dark side. So that's cool. That's kind of the goal.
That's amazing. I totally love it. I know we don't have that much time left. Is it okay if I ask you a bunch of fun questions to end the interview?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Okay, a lot of people can't answer this question, but hopefully you can get it. All right. If you could choose your death, but it had to be by somebody in a horror flick, who would you choose to kill you, and how would they do it?
Ooh, that is a hard one, huh? Who would kill me, and how would they do it? Michael Myers, just because it would be Halloween, and at least I'd be dressed up in costume or something, just your typical stabby. Just stab me to death.
All right, sounds good. All right, in a zombie apocalypse, if you could choose one weapon to destroy the zombie horde, that can't be the nuke or a cure, what is your one weapon?
To destroy the whole horde?
Or no, just for survival.
For survival, what would be my weapon?
You could have any weapon.
Well, what if it's more of a defense mechanism? And it's like, I've always thought that if a zombie apocalypse came, I would want a boat, because it's very rare you see like swimming zombies, So like float me out to sea or whatever. I can just boat from wherever I need to go and try to find what part of land looks like it doesn't have a bunch of zombies on it,
Yep. No, that's awesome. Throughout doing your tours, your festivals, is there any artists that you were really excited to meet that made an impact on your life as far as giving you advice? I know you told me that Sully gave you some advice. Is there any other artists out there that you were just like kind of nervous about meeting, and when you met them, they were just like the coolest person ever?
There's so many. Yeah, like obviously I learned a lot from Sully. Lizzie Hale, she gave me advice once, but she was just like, it's not that even though they're so talented, she's like, it's not that we're better than anyone that we started playing with. It's just that we didn't quit. They gave up. And the only reason we're still here is because we kept going. And so that it kind of sticks with me, because I think about all of the, things I would have missed out on if I had like just thrown in the towel. All the really cool experiences, tour with Halestorm, and in this moment, the tour with Godsmack and Steel Panther, UK with Fozzy. It's like I would never have experienced that if I had thrown in the towel, because it was too hard.
No, you know what? That's awesome, Mixi. You just sound like such a badass vocalist and person in general. And thank you so much for not only talking about the albums To the Wolves that comes out September 1st, but just for inspiring me because I really loved hearing about what you go through with your mental health because it's a big topic nowadays, and it's really cool that there's a great person like you that just sings from the heart and really cares about people. And I want to thank you so much for being on the Metal Mixtape.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate all the kind words. And yeah, I'm just transparent about it because I feel like a lot of people are going through that right now, and I'm tired of sugarcoating. And I feel like maybe I can be a voice with someone that thinks they're depressed but doesn't know how to handle it. I would suggest talk to a therapist, and at least they've been trained to handle the brain. They know what they're doing. So at least you can talk to someone who has some education and can give you a perspective that you don't know, that you wouldn't necessarily see from from the forest and the trees.
I love it. I love it, Mixi. Last but not least, can you say this is Mixi from Stitched Up Heart and you are listening to the Metal Mixtape?
This is Mixi from Stitched Up Heart, and you are listening to the Metal Mixtape.
Mixi, you have a beautiful day, a beautiful rest of the interviews, and I just hope you the biggest success on this album, and hopefully I'll see you on the road soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time, and it was really fun talking to you.
You too, Mixi. Have a great day, okay?
You too. Bye.